Welcome to the third night of solutions. We're going to start with something fairly simple. We'll start with number 4 on the systems, okay? And Bill and Steve decide to spend the afternoon at an amusement park enjoying their favorite activities, water slide and the gigantic Ferris wheel, okay? Notice in this case you are comparing two monetary values. And so what you might want to think about is this. This is a special standard form system. You have 3 of these and 3 of these, equaling a total of $17.70. So let's just let W equal the water slide and F equal the Ferris wheel. So 3 water slides plus 3 Ferris wheels would equal a grand total of $17.70. Notice I just wrote it as 17 7/10 at this point because I don't really need to worry about this. Now let's look at this one. I have 2 water slides and 3 Ferris wheels, and that is going to equal a total of $15.55. So those are my two equations, and hopefully we went ahead and had that. Here's the solution, ladies and gentlemen. And hopefully you noticed that if we were going to do this, the water slide cost is $2.15. With substitution, you find out that the Ferris wheel cost is $3.75. All right, so let's take a look at Rockaway. And Rockaway plant makes the Topaz and the Mustang, and they have a maximum production of 1,200 cars per week. And during the spring, a dealer orders up to 600 Topaz cars and 800 Mustangs each week. If the profit on a Topaz is $500 and on a Mustang is $800, let's figure things out. Let's let X represent the Topaz and Y represent the Mustang. Since you can't have negative cars, of course, the first 2 constraints that you really should write is X is greater than or equal to 0, and Y is greater than or equal to 0. The plant has a capacity of 1,200 cars, so the number of Topaz plus the number of Mustangs has to be less than or equal to 1,200. You cannot go over 1,200. Then they can order up to 600 Topaz, so X has to be less than or equal to 600. And of course, Y, which represents the number of Mustangs, has to be less than or equal to 800. And finally, our equation for the profit, the function at point XY is equal to 500X plus 800Y. How did you do on this one? Now, it is possible that you do have these changed. It is possible that you might have said, well, Mustang comes before Topaz. And so I used X for Mustang and Y for Topaz. And that's okay, guys. So let's take a look at the graphing, and we've got this all set up. These are the constraints that we're going to graph, and this, of course, is my optimization equation. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. The first one's very easy because, of course, what are we going to do? That's right, we're going to put it in the first quadrant. So Mrs. Rose is just going to go ahead and put her constraint inequality here and her constraint inequality here. And notice that I went ahead and counted by the hundreds. You might not have done that, but Mrs. Rose went ahead and did that. All right, so this first one is in standard form. X plus Y is 1,200. So if Mrs. Rose did not order anything else except the Topaz, it would be at 1,200. And the Y would be nothing but 1,200 also. And then since it's a solid line, we'll go ahead and mark it with the solid line. Now, some of these are extraneous because, of course, there is limitations on how many of each that you can do. But let's go ahead and do that. And then, of course, X has to be less than or equal to 600. So let me go ahead and mark my pen right there at the 600 mark. Okay. And X is less than or equal to 600, of course, is a vertical line, Mrs. Rose. So Mrs. Rose has to go ahead and put this up like this. All right. And then she has to go ahead and do the other one. And Y is less than or equal to 800. So 500, 600, 700, 800. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and mark this like this. Now, if you notice, this one is fairly easy to see. Okay? There's not a lot of distortion here. We can definitely see that my point right here is 0, 800. I also have a point right here of 0, 0, but let's face it, that one's toast because I'd make no profit at all. Then I have this one, which is 600, 0. And I have this one, which is very easy to see. This one is 400, and then also 500, 600, 700, 800. But this one right here has me a little kerflunkled, okay? I'm not really sure where it is. And so I look at this, and this is x is 600, and this, of course, is the x plus y. So what I have to do is I go ahead and do the math, just in case to check my work, and I go ahead and substitute the 600 in here. So 600 plus y less than or equal to 1200. And so y, oops, I have to put a 0 there. Y is less than or equal to also to 600. So I do have one that's 600, comma 600, okay? So now what do I have to do? I have to take all of these points and I have to use the function at xy is equal to 500x plus 800y, okay? And that would be the one that we did. And you go ahead and finish it, put the corner points in, and let's see where would be your maximum profit. I hope you have a great evening, and I will see you in class tomorrow.